Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Dev with Excel. All right, so in the previous video, we were able to solve exercise 2.1, course information, step 6. So in this video, we are going to be solving exercise 2.2, course information, step 7. So it says, show also the sum of the exercises of the course. So we are expected to have this part of the code, total of 42 exercises, right? Now, looking at exercise 2.3 also, course information step 6, it says if you haven't done so already, calculate the sum of exercises with the array method reduce. Okay, so what this means is that for the exercise 2.1, it's understandable that people can find the sum of exercises using different means, right? So it's accepted in exercise 2.2 step 7. But in step 2.3, we are explicitly told to use the reduce method, right? So here, since I'm going to be using the reduce method for both exercise 2.2 and 2.3, we can just merge the two exercises together. So looking at my setup folder under part 2 here, we can see we have step 7, 8, which means step 7 and 8. So we are going to be using this to solve both step 7 here and step 8 here, since they mean the same thing. So I'm simply going to copy this part here and I'm going to cd into it. Then I run using npm run dev. All right, so let's go to the SRC folder and let's launch the app.jsx. Okay, so on the browser, it's trying to load what we have here. So this is successfully rendered on the browser, but we don't have this total here. So how do we get the total sum here? Using the reduce method. All right, so I'm going to minimize this and also this. Now to work or to solve for the total sum, we are expected to use the reduce method. Now, how does the reduce method work? Okay, so here I'm simply going to take out this part here and use a curly brace and then use a return statement. All right, now let's work using the reduce method. Now, the reduce method, it accepts a function, right, with 4 parameters. Now, let me just write it here. So here we are going to start with the path because we are working with the path here, because the path here contains the exercises. So we are going to be doing path dot exercises eventually in a way. So let's see how that works out. So we have path here. For the total, we have path as a property, and then here we use path dot reduce, because here the reduce is a method for an array, and you can see that here path is an array, right? It's an array method. So we are going to say reduce. Then inside this reduce here, we are going to write a function with something like this. Now, inside this part here, this is the part where we are supposed to put in parameters. Now, let's assume we have A, B, C, and D. The reduce is accept 4 parameters, where the first one, which is called A in this case here, is called is referred to as the total sum of values, right? And it's called accumulator. B here, it refers to the current value. C refers to the index of the current value, and then D here, it refers to the array itself that I want to work with, such as path. But in this case, we are working with just the first two. That's the accumulator, which signifies the total value, and then B, which is the current value. So we are going to take out this, and then we call this sum, and then we call this parts. Now this sum here is going to mean the total value, and this part is going to mean the current value, right? Now, after the arrow symbol here, the next we need to write is sum plus parts dot exercises. Let's be sure if it's exercises or exercise. Let's go back to where we have it. Part dot exercises. Okay, so we are trying to target exercises for each of the objects that resides in this parts array. So we have exercises here. Then after everything here, what we need to do is we need to put in a comma and then put a 0. Then we surround this entire statement with curly brace, right? Okay, all right. Now, this sum here, we need to replace it with the parts property. So we have parts here, and then also we have parts here. Okay, so how does this work? How does this work? Let's see how this can actually work. Let's save this and see. Okay, so it's saying unexpected token parts dot reduce. Okay, so what are we supposed to have here? Um, let's do something. Let's place this inside a p tag. Okay, so that was what was missing actually. So it needed us to place this inside a p tag. Now, like I said here, this refers to as a total value, which is called the accumulator. Why this part here, it refers to the current value. Now, what happens is that this 0 here is referred to as the initial value, and it is optional. The way it works is this sum here, which is a parameter here, it's computed as the initial value. So sum here, if this is provided, remember I said this is it's optional. If this is provided, this sum here is equal to 0. The iteration begins from 0, right? And then 0 gets added to part exercises. In this case, we have 10, we have 7, and then we have 14. So this becomes 0, which is for sum, plus 10, and then goes again. Now sum is now 10 plus the next part dot exercises, which is 7, that's 17, and then this sum becomes 17 plus the next part dot exercises, which is 14, which should be here, and that gives us a total, right? So now, having implemented this, let's now format the total component inside the course component. So the next thing we need to do here is we need to write the total component here and do something like this. Let's save this and see. So our code is broken because we need to place in the properties here. So for the total, we have parts as the properties. So we can just say part is equal to, now part is supposed to be equal to something, right? Looking at this very well, the value we are targeting here is exercises, which is inside the parts arrays inside the course object. So how do we get this here? For now, we've been able to render parts, right? That's part.exercises. So what we need to put inside this part is this. We need to simply say course.parts, because we need to get the value of this part here, and then from this part here we render everything we want to have here. So let's save this and see if that works. 31. So we can see that we have 31 as the value here. 10 plus 7 plus 14 gives us 31. But let's go back to the instruction to be very sure that we are doing exactly or almost exactly what is expected. So here we have total of 42 exercises. So let's just write that out. Total of 42 exercises. So we could just come here and say total of, then at the end here we say exercises. So let's save this and see. Okay, so here we have total of 31 exercises. We are having 31 exercises. Okay, but here how many? Okay, here is 42. That's for 2.2. Okay, all right. That doesn't mean we are working with what we have. All right, so here it says total of 31 exercises. But let's give this something like a bold font, right? So we can just come here. Let's change this p tag to, let's say, h4 tag. Let's see how that comes out. Okay, total of 31 exercises. I think I prefer this. So let's be very sure that we are working with the correct course object that is expected of us. Let's go back to exercise 2.2, or is it 2.1 now? It's 2.2 still. Okay. So here we have abstract application development and then total of 31 exercises. This is just almost the way it is in the instruction. So I want to believe that we've been able to successfully solve exercises 2.2 and 2.3, right? So let me be very sure again using the reduce method. Okay, so here we've used the reduce method and we've been able to achieve this. All right, so with this, I'll say thank you for joining me on this video today and see you in the next video. Bye.